Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life in the Palatinate. And a very important thing to enjoy your life outdoors here in the Palatinate is having a bike. So I have my bike, my wife has her bike as well, but the last time she used her bike, she got a flat tire. And a very basic skill that you need to know if you're going to be riding your bike for half an hour or hours outside, right? You're going to go far away from your place, is how to change a flat tire. And to be honest with you, I've never done this before. It's gonna be my first time trying to do it. I bought a few tools on Amazon. I watched a video on YouTube and I feel pretty ready now to give it a try. But let's see how that's gonna go. So come with me and let's try to do it. Hey, do you wanna help me change a tire, Tina? No, you cannot take your big bone to change the tire. Ready to just play with your bone? Alright, so before you actually start to do everything, there are basically three things that you should look at and maybe spend a minute just looking and trying to figure out how they actually work if you have never paid attention to this, which are, the mechanism to take the wheel off. And in my case here, you see just a couple of screws, pretty simple, but that can be different for different types of bikes. The second thing is the brake system. Again, it was a fairly simple one. To disconnect the cable, it was pretty easy. You're gonna see later on in the video how I reconnect the cable. It was pretty straightforward. And third, the clutch system. This one was a pretty, standard type of clutch, but it can be different for different types of bikes. So before you even try to do it, make sure that you understand how your bike works. And I'm gonna post the link of a video with a very detailed explanation on how to disassemble different types of clutches and so on. So after I take the screws off and disconnect the thing from the brake, now it's time to just really remove the wheel. And this for me was the trickiest part. And I just realized afterwards that, it probably is gonna be the best idea just to turn the bike upside down. So you can see there's definitely a lot of struggle, to handle the clutch, because you gotta just create some slack in the chain so you can really, take the wheel off and the clutch doesn't, get in the crown in the wheel. It's not crazy hard, you just gotta try it out and you can probably do it. Again, maybe turning the bike upside down would help in this situation. But, well, I only thought about that afterwards, so. As you can see in here, after a while, I managed to take it off. So yeah, it works. Then the next step is taking the tire and the tube off the rim. So for this one, you have to use, well, you don't have to, you can do it just by brute force, I guess, but using these little plastic tools, and I'm gonna show you more detail in the end of the video, it's very, very, easy, and yeah, it just makes your life way easier. I had never used them before. Again, this was all new to me, and I managed to do it fairly quickly. And after you put one in there, then you use the other one to create some more space, and then you just, the whole thing just comes off, as you can see. After you're done with one of the sides, then the other side is really just pushing the tire down and the thing will come off. And don't forget to take the cap off the valve, otherwise it's not coming out too. After you separate the tube from the tire, then you gotta inspect the tire to make sure that whatever, punctured your tire and your tube in the first place is not there anymore for the new tube. Otherwise, you're just gonna do this all over again. So in this case, it was pretty obvious, it was just these little pin that you can see in here that, got stuck in there and punctured the tube. Maybe it's something else, but whatever it is, don't worry too much about the tire itself. So what's important, of course, for the tire pressure is the tube, not really this external part of the tire. But, take the opportunity to double check everything and make sure your tire is in good conditions too. Then with the new tube, you just gotta pump some air into it, make sure there are no defects and the air is not leaking from it. And then you put it together with the tire and you get ready to put it back on the wheel. So an interesting tip is to align the valve with the inscriptions on the tire. Because the inscriptions are going to tell you, of course, the maximum pressure that you can put on the on the tire. And if it's just beside the valve, then it just makes your life easier for the rest of the time that you're gonna have to put some air on the tire and so on. So yeah, make sure those two are aligned, and then you double check the rim as well to make sure that you don't have any foreign objects or whatever that could put a new puncture in your tube. And then there is of course a hole in the rim that you can put the valve through, and that's how you start to put the whole thing together again. Oh yeah, and for some reason that I don't know, I have no idea about this, there is a little arrow on the tire as well, a little inscription of an arrow on the tire that tells you the direction of the wheel. I mean, so the direction that the wheel is supposed to spin. So make sure you check that as well before you put the tire back on the rim, because it has to be in this right position. I mean, why can't the tire go both ways? I guess it can, but there is apparently a better way. Anyway, if you know the reason, let me know in the comment section below. To put the tire back into position, you start with one of the sides, of course, and just go around it, making sure that the little edge of the tire is inside the wheel rim. Yeah, and then in the end you can use the little plastic tool again to make sure that it goes all the way back into position. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You just gotta look into it and you'll figure it out. Then you move to the other side, do the same thing all over again, and in the end make sure you inspect the whole wheel again to make sure that you're not pinching the tube anywhere between the tire and the wheel. Otherwise, again, you can damage the tube, and just gonna do all the work all over again. So make sure that everything is all right before you put more pressure into the tube, and Then it comes the annoying part again of putting, the wheel back and handling the clutch and the chain and all that, weird stuff. But if you are more clever than I was, then you're just gonna, put your bike upside down and make your life way, way easier. But I guess I like the challenge. Or maybe I was just stupid. Yeah, up to you. Make sure the wheel is well aligned and everything is where it's supposed to be. Just do a double check and then you just put the screws back. Then the last part, you just make sure that everything is looking solid, the bike is working as it's supposed to be, and you reconnect the brake system. And now you can see in more detail how the brake system in this bike works. I think it's a pretty common one. Maybe your bike's like this too. So it's not complicated at all. It's just, a little wire thing in there, a cable that you put back into place, and you're done. Double check, see if your brake's working, and you're pretty much done. Just just pump the tires again and see if everything's into place, and that's it. You're done. And this was the little bastard that gave me all this trouble, but at the same time helped me repair this bike tire or change it. So whenever this happens again, I feel a little bit more prepared to handle this. So that is it. The job is done. I managed to change the tube and repair the tire. So now the bike is ready to go again. As you can see, it wasn't crazy hard. I didn't really need a lot of tools. All I needed was these little plastic levers over here. I bought them on Amazon and I paid around $5, I guess. I only used 2 and not 3, but it's always good to have a spare one. One of them breaks. I also used a wrench, just like a regular wrench, size 15, to take out the wheels, as you could see. And of course, I needed to buy a new tube. An alternative would, of course, to just repair the puncture that I had in the tube. As you could see, was a tiny one. You could just use a repair kit. When I bought the little levers, it came like with this little kit. And what's inside in here, it's basically some adhesives, which kind of work like a band-aid for the tube. And there's also a little file that you should roughen up a little bit the tube before you stick the little patch on it. But I didn't use them, I just put a new one. So yeah, it was pretty easy. As you could see, I kind of handled it by myself, but it wasn't very pretty, I guess, or maybe not the most efficient way. It was my first time doing it. I think it went pretty well for a first try. It isn't rocket science, but still, I'm pretty happy with the results. It is a very good skill to have. You know, if you've done it before in a controlled environment, such as I did in the garage, then it makes your life pretty easier if you have to do it outside in the middle of nowhere, wherever you are. So yeah, I'm pretty confident now to just take the bikes and go to the Weinstraße, or the area with the vineyards here in the Palatinate. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed a little bit this different type of content, but I think it's an interesting skill to have. Maybe you try it out as well to change your bike's tube or just repair it, and let me know how that goes in the comment sections. If you liked the video, like button. If you loved it, subscribe to the channel and you can see more stuff. And that's it for today. I'll see you here next time. Ciao.